Episode 100.
The night sky over Hill Springs Mountain reverberated with the sounds of engines revving and tires screeching, a symphony of excitement and adrenaline as the racers prepared to compete. Naomi's curiosity peaked as she scanned the surroundings, her eyes drawn to the sleek silhouette of a limited edition GTR disappearing into the night.
What's that? Was it the wind? Geez, that was fast.
Lola's gaze followed Naomi's. Her own sense of wonder mirrored Naomi's as they set off in pursuit of the elusive thing of curiosity.
It seems to be a car.
What kind of car goes so fast that it seems like a blur?
Only if we could go closer to that.
Let's catch up with whoever it is.
Naomi put her foot on the gas, and her determination propelled her forward, her Ferrari tearing through the winding roads in hot pursuit of the mysterious racer. However, despite Naomi's best efforts, the GTR remained elusive, disappearing into the darkness like a ghost in the night. As they reached the foot of Hill Springs Mountain, Naomi's disappointment was palpable. Her frustration mounted as she searched in vain for any sign of the elusive GTR.
Looks like he slipped through our fingers.
Naomi's expression softened as she leaned back against her Ferrari, a hint of excitement dancing in her eyes as she considered the possibilities. Lola watched Naomi with a knowing smile, her own thoughts mirroring Naomi's as they shared a moment of silent understanding.
You can't fool me, Miss Sullivan. I know you're intrigued.
Naomi pursed her lips.
I just wanted to see who's behind those wheels. Definitely good driving skills. And did you see that limited edition GTR? That kind of a car isn't bought by just many. You need that kind of an allure.
Come on, miss. Your eyes have ratted you out.
At the top of the mountain, the atmosphere roared of excitement and furor as cars and their riders prepared to show off their mettle. There were many models wearing skimpy clothes and holding colorful flags, welcoming the racers of tonight. Everyone had their winners and bet on their friends. Mr. Scott awaited Damon's arrival with a smug smile, his confidence unwavered as he taunted Matthew with veiled threats.
So, where is your friend? He seemed quite confident when I invited him over.
If he said he would come, then I am sure he would. There is no doubt about it.
You lay too much trust on your friend. So tell me, why does he act as if he is rich? You can only pretend for some time until the veil is removed.
How do you know that he isn't rich?
You and I are alike. I know that you are rich, even though your family is in crisis, a fact I can ignore, hence, we must stick together.
As Mr. Scott coerced Matthew into joining his side and making fun of Damon, Matthew got a call. It was his father.
Hey, Dad. Is everything okay? You never call at such a late hour.
Suddenly, Matthew had a frown on his face and he broke into a sweat.
Okay, I'll come back now.
Matthew left in urgency and left a message to Damon.
Damon, I'm sorry I won't be able to be here for you today, as an urgent business needs my attention back at the auction house. I am transferring $500,000 to your account so that you can participate in the games. It's okay if you lose. This is a gift from me. Enjoy.
Damon smiled looking at the message.
Losing? Who would lose? Definitely not me.
Matthew's departure left Damon alone at the foot of Hill Spring Mountain, his determination unwavered as he prepared to face whatever challenges lie ahead. Damon looked at the empty road and wondered where everybody was. Had there been a mistake? At Hill Spring Mountain, the sun dipped behind the peaks, casting long shadows across the rugged terrain. Mr. Scott stood waiting, the mountain air growing cooler as the minutes stretched into an hour. But Damon was nowhere to be seen.
Tiffany, your friend talks big, but it seems he's all bark and no bite. In fact, it doesn't matter. Stanley was right. You have to be in the entertainment circle in the future. These basic things should be clear. Some men are completely taking advantage of your beauty. Why don't you sit in my car tonight?
There was a rule to participate in these races, along with a deposit. The presence of a beautiful woman was also required. It was a place where many came to choose companions for the night, with commissions ranging from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. Scott's proposition to Tiffany was laced with underlying intentions, exploiting the rules of Hill Spring Mountain for his own gain.
No, I have a friend.
She had come here to find Damon, and if he didn't show, there was no point in staying. Tiffany, resolute in her loyalty to Damon, calmly rejected Mr. Scott's advances.
Okay, your loss. I'll go and choose someone else.
Mr. Scott said, his smile tinged with malice. In Hill Spring Mountains culture, the presence of a beautiful companion held significant weight, attracting the attention of wealthy patrons seeking both status and pleasure. Mr. Scott, undeterred by Tiffany's refusal, moved on to another woman, displaying his disregard for genuine connections. After a while, Mr. Scott selected a tall, fit model. As she got in, she seemed to recognize Tiffany, her words laced with disdain.
Mr. Scott, were you going to choose her instead of me?
What do you know? She's the campus queen bee. Everyone wants a little bit of the young blood.
The model scoffed, but her comments only served to amuse Mr. Scott. Tiffany, meanwhile, waited at the gate of the Hill Spring Mountain, her presence drawing more attention than she desired. Despite the distractions, Tiffany remained resolute in her commitment to wait for Damon, her steadfast loyalty unwavering amidst the chaos. Amidst the crowd, a man approached, his demeanor polite.
Hey, beautiful. Why don't you get into my car?
No, I have a friend.
Boyfriend?
Yes.
Despite his disappointment, the man remained courteous, offering to exchange contact information. Sensing an opportunity, Mr. Scott intervened, offering to facilitate a connection between Tiffany and the courteous stranger.
Hello, Mr. Tony. This is our company's new artist, and we handle all her business affairs. I'll give you her contact information after the race.
As Mr. Tony departed, Mr. Scott turned his frustration towards Tiffany.
Tiffany, if things go on like this, the company will not be able to train you. You can't reject or accept people without our prior consent. Your actions reflect poorly on the company. Rejecting potential benefactors is not how a rising star behaves.
Mr. Scott's frustration stemmed from his realization that Tiffany's loyalty to Damon may hinder her career prospects in the entertainment industry.
I am a performer. It's not time to perform now. My personal affairs are separate from the business ones. Besides, I really have a boyfriend. There was no lie in it.
Just as tensions escalated, Damon's message brought relief and hope to Tiffany. Her phone buzzed with a message from Damon.
I'm turning back now. Wait for me. You're my queen for tonight.
Damon's promise to return reaffirmed his commitment to Tiffany and asserted his dominance in Hillwood's social hierarchy. Damon's words, meant only for Tiffany's eyes only, were intercepted by Mr. Scott, who couldn't resist mocking her.
How quaint. Your boyfriend seems quite confident, but does he know what he's up against? Seems like he's the source of your blatant confidence. What does that country bumpkin think he is to call you a queen?
Suddenly, a commotion erupted at the foot of the mountain, cheers echoing through the valley. Mr. Scott, puzzled by the excitement, hurried to investigate, only to learn that someone had outpaced even Mr. Dawson, the seasoned driver.
It's the limited edition GTR. It's super exciting.
As the silver GTR roared to a halt before them, its driver exuding an aura of confidence, Mr. Scott's disbelief turned to admiration, realizing that true greatness often arrived when least expected.